Hello everyone, and today we're going to be talking about conditions in Python. So let's get started by talking about what a condition is. So a condition is a set of instructions being run based on whether a value is true or false. And I know this sounds like a lot, so I'm going to show you an example in PyCharm. Okay, so let's say I have a number, let's call it num, and let's say that it's equal to 1. And I want Python to tell me whether or not my number is 1. So what I do is I say if num equals 1, and I put a colon, and so this equals here is different from this equals here. So when you have two equal signs next to each other, that means that you're saying that num is equal to 1. And here you're assigning 1 to num. So a single equal sign is used to assign, and two equal signs are used to compare. So now what I'm saying here is if this is true, then continue into the indent. Run whatever is inside the indent. So now I say print your number is 1. So I'm saying if my number is 1, print your number is 1. Pretty simple. So let's run this, and it should give me 1. And if I said 2, it doesn't give me anything. So if I wanted to say your number is not 1, I use something called the else statement. Basically, the else statement is if the if statement is not true, then we run whatever is in the else statement's indent. So here I'm going to write your number is not 1. So now if it's 2, it says your number is not 1. And if I said like 1 again, it still says the correct answer no matter what. So this is a very basic way of using if and else. So now let's talk about ands and ors. Alright, so here I have two Boolean values, is tall and is thin, and they're both set to true. So I'm going to try to make a program that tells me if I'm tall and if I'm thin. So the choices are I'm both tall and thin, I'm not tall and I'm not thin, or I am tall and not thin, or I'm thin and not tall. So let's get started. So the first if statement I want to have is to tell me whether I'm both tall and thin. So here I can say if is underscore tall is equal to true, and is underscore thin is equal to true. Oops. Then go into the indent. So this and here means that these both have to be true for me to go in the indent. They both must be true. So in the indent, let's say print you are tall and thin. And here I want to say if I'm not tall and I'm not thin. So it's like the same thing, but instead of saying else, because there are more combinations than just false and false, I have to say else if. So the way we say else if in Python is elif. And elif means that if it's not this and if it's something else. So here I'm going to say is underscore tall is equal to false, and is underscore thin is equal to false. Then let's go into this. So here I'm going to say you are not tall and not thin. So now we have to say if I'm one of them but not the other. So here we actually have to have a if statement inside of an if statement. So I'm going to say is underscore tall is equal to true, or is underscore thin is equal to true. So the or statement means that it can be either one of these to move into the indent. So here I have to say if is underscore tall is equal to true, then just say you are tall and not thin. So you are tall and not thin. Capital Y. And since there's literally no other combinations other than if is thin is true and is tall is false, I'm just going to say else and print you are thin and not tall. Oops. You are thin and not tall. And let's see, let's run it. So first I have them both as true, so it should tell me you are tall and thin. And there you go. And now let's change them both to false. So false, and now you are not tall and not thin. And now let's change this one to true. And you are tall and not thin, and let's change this to true and this to false. And you are thin and not tall. Alright, great. And one last thing to note is that we can actually simplify this code a little bit. So Python automatically has a default that makes it equal to true. So I don't actually have to specify equal to true here or here. And I don't have to say equal to false here either. There's actually a keyword called not. So not basically means that it's the opposite. So it's not true, which is the same as false. So I can just say not here and change that to false. And I can also remove the trues everywhere else, and it does the exact same thing. Oops. And now let's run this again. So it should give me you are thin and not tall, as it did, and you are tall and thin, you are tall and not thin, and you are not tall and not thin. And that's pretty much it for conditions for today. And we're gonna use conditions and other Boolean values later. Like in the next video, we're gonna be talking about while loops, which also deal with Booleans. But that's all for now. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next video.